The new red Sanji leader from the PRB01 set is very interesting. It actually won a tournament not too long ago. This isn't that exact deck list, but it's one that I've been using. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Bobby. Let's talk about the Sanji leader. This is the current deck list that I'm running. We're going to be talking about the 1 all the way to 7 cost. This is a complete rushdown deck with a little bit of on-play stuff. And before we get started, I want you guys to let me know down in the comments. Do you guys care if we do deck profile videos with cards physically, even if it's proxied or not? Or do you much rather prefer if I'm sitting at a computer and you can see the cards like that? Because I feel like it's more like intimate if we do it this way, just a little bit different, because anyone can go online, but it takes a little bit more to actually have the cards in front of you or even print them. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the Sanji leader, as mentioned, PRB01. This is the alternate art. It's pretty cool. So 5,000 power, red leader, straw hat. Activate once per turn up to one of your 8 cost or lower characters without an on-play effect that gains rush until the end of the turn. So everything could get rush. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so this is going to be a straw hat primarily focused deck. So we'll talk about all of the things and we'll separate them. So I'm going to be talking about that and I'll be separating them like this so we can talk about it later. So the first thing we have is a Diable Jambe. This is just a 1 in this deck. You can run 1 or 2, but it depends. I really just wanted to run in this one. So yeah, choose one of your leaders or straw hats, and then your opponent can now activate blockers. This is really good, obviously, if you have a straw hat leader or if you're just running a lot of straw hat cards, which is great. The KO trigger doesn't really happen a lot, but if it goes off, it goes off. So pretty good finishing card. Next off, we're running Radical Beams. 1 cost counter your leader or up to character gets 2,000, which is pretty bad. However, if you have 2 or less life, then you get 4,000. So honestly, you're never really gonna be ideally using Radical Beam early game. You're going to be keeping it until you have 2 or less life to save a character or yourself for 4,000. It's really good in that regard. This is searchable as well. And the trigger, you can get 1,000 during the turn. So if you get it in early, early trigger when your character is going to be hit a lot, that's completely fine. So like 4 of these Radical Beams. Okay. Next up, it's going to be some more tech utility cards. This is Nami from ST01. This is 1/1/1. Activate main once per turn. Give your leader or another character up to 1 Rested Dawn card. Now, I really like using this Nami in this specific deck because, honestly, you're going to get a lot of value because almost every other character you're going to play that is your attacker is going to have rush. And in that regard, you're going to be giving them a lot of stuff here. This also acts as a pseudo blocker because your opponent will want to remove it with effects. Honestly, you're not going to be doing much with this. You can't attack. You're not going to be attacking with it. You're not going to be arresting it usually, so they have to use effects to get rid of it. So it's pretty annoying. And we're going to be running 3 of these Namis. Next up, it's going to be the Searcher Namis, because this is a primarily Straw Hat deck from OP09 One. On play, top 5 Straw Hat, reveal it, put it to your hand, and place the rest to the bottom. Like I said, about 80% of this deck is Straw Hats, so there you go. 2, 3, 4. All right. Next up, we have a 2 counter. We have a 2 cost counter. This is Jinbei from ST10. 2/2/2. 1 Dawn attach when attacking. Give a opponent negative 2,000 during this turn. Now, you can use this for rush if you really need to, and I'll be giving you an example of why, the situation where you might want to be using this Jinbei to attack. But yeah, this is potential rush, but obviously, 2k right there. Sorting 4 of these because the -2 just for like 3 Dawn. The 3 Dawn is fine, but then you're really not going to be able to attack any leader with it. But if you could lower somebody down to from 5,000 to 3,000, you can at least match them. And then if you have obviously another attack coming through with a leader or something, you can do it that way. Okay, next up, it's another great character that works with this leader. This is Sanji from OP01, 2/3/2, so it's a 2 counter. Activate main once per turn. You can add 1 card from your life to your hand, so he's self-hurt. It is mandatory to do this effect if you choose to use this. This character gains 2,000, so he'll be 5,000. Then you give him two Rested Dawn, so he goes from 2 to 5 to 7, and then he gets Rush. So the only thing you have to do, obviously, is to play him, and then hurt yourself, but then you can actually get some really good damage off if you do this. For example, if you do a turn 10, you're using what, 2 Dawn to get him to 7, and then you use the rest of the Dawn to put on him for like plus 12, 13, 14 damage. It's really crazy. So we're running 4 of these. Next up is the last 2k counter of the deck. This is a promo Luffy, 06 Luffy, 3/3/2. Dawn to your turn. This character gains 2 power. So it's almost like the Sanji, but except hurting yourself. You just have to spend a little bit more Dawn. So let's do a little bit of a theory here. So we put him for 3. Then you have to put 2 Dawn on him to get 2,000 more. So it goes to 7,000 and you get the rush. So it's another good card to use if you really need to get that rush, except you're not hurting yourself. So basically, you use this to hurt yourself. This one you don't. But you have to add more Dawn to him, so you have to add 5 Dawn, which is why there's another good reason to have these Namis in here. Let's say you had to do that. You don't have to use the extra Dawn. You just attach some rested Dawn here. Same thing with the Jinbei 2K. So these are interesting techs if you really need to use them. Next up, we have a 3-cost blocker in the form of Tony Chopper from EV01. 3/4/1, innate blocker, 2 Dawn attached when attacking. Give up to one of your opponent's characters negative 3,000. This is a really good card for this deck because, yeah, you can play it as a blocker, you can play it as a 1k counter, but more importantly, you can leave it on the field and attack next turn, or go right away, attach 2 Dawn, and then give somebody negative 3. It's really freaking good. So usually you're going to be attaching 2 Dawn. He'll be 6,000, and you can attack someone's face, or you can lower somebody by 3 and take care of it. And then, yeah, I'm going to say it again. Like, I see this having a ton of value in this deck, this Nami. So we're running 4 of these. It's your kind of only defensive cards in here. Next up, we have a Zoro from ST01. This has 0 counter, but it's 3/5, 1 Dawn attached. This character gains 1,000 power. And just remember, guys, rush. Anyone without an on-play gains a rush. So the turn that you can play him, 3 Dawn, you can rush for 5. If you play him on your if you go second and you have 4 Dawn, you throw him out. So you go 3, you put 1 Dawn on him. He has 7,000 to attack. Then this is a permanent effect. So your opponent has to swing 6,000 plus to get rid of him. So going second with this in your hand is very strong. 2, 3, 4. So this is your early game attacking rushers. Next up, it's going to be Brook. This is a really good card for the Sanji deck, man. 4/5/1, also Straw Hat. 1 Dawn attached when attacking. Give 2 opponents negative 2,000. I mean, what can you say about that? It's just anything that has a freaking rush and Dawn attached, it's really good. Anything lowering powers. Now, there's not a lot in the deck that actually does something when a power is low. For example, KOing, but the fact that it lowers powers means you can get value off of an opponent if they attack. Then you can go ahead and lower the attack and then go for them, and then they have to use more resources to keep that character alive. So even though you're not like directly KOing with an effect, we have one card that does that, which I'll talk about soon. But you still get a lot of value, especially if multiple characters are going to be attacking your target. So if they combo out of this, you attack with your leader, they have to spend even more stuff. Okay, next up, it's going to be these Luffys. This is a promo Luffy, but you can use like the 4 cost Frankie. It's the same thing. I just wanted to use this for the art. So 4/6/1 Luffy, film Supernova Straw Hat. So it's nothing but a nice vanilla. If you don't get your Zoro, that early, you can get this out early, and it's the same thing. So there you go, 2, 3. It's going to have Rush. Okay, next up, it's the only other character. It's the other character that can actually KO when opponents has 4,000 or less Dawn. Pell, OP04, Alabasta. So it's not searchable, but it's a good card regardless. 5/6/0. 1 Dawn when attacking. So once again, a lot of cards in this deck, lower the cost. And this will have Rush as long as they have 6 Dawn. Or the Nami, once again, so much, I'm not even kidding. Like, this has so much value in the deck because you have Rush every single turn. You're going to be giving characters just that much more damage. So we're running just 3 of these. The reason why is because, it's not searchable. It doesn't have a counter. And, we're not really trying to just KO things like that with an effect. But if it goes off, it goes off. Now, here's another choice I love. Like, this is a really good card from OP08. This is Wapple. So this is a Drum Kingdom, not searchable. However, the effect is pretty good for Sanji. 6/6/1. 1 Dawn attached when attacking. One opponent's character gets negative 2,000. Then this character gains 2,000 until the end of your opponent's next turn. So you attack with 7 Dawn. you go crazy, or 6 with the attached Nami, right? And then you get 8,000 damage to do whatever, and he keeps that 8,000, so you get great value off this card. And the final card of the deck is a new one that just got announced a little bit ago. This is a new promo Luffy that I'm using. So this is a Luffy, 4 Emperors, Egghead, Straw Hat. So it's Straw Hat for searching, and it's a very, very good rush card. So if you use this on, when you have 7 Dawn, you're going to be attacking for 9,000. 9,000 is very, very annoying to attack into to get rid of. And if you use it later, you're going to be able to just use more of your Dawn for other things. So this is the thing that we're using. So basically, this is a really heavy Rushdown deck with a lot of support and a good amount of defense. A good amount of defense via your events here. You have 4 Radical Beams. You have 4 of those Choppers. And you have a good amount of 2Ks. Let's go ahead and talk about exactly how many 2Ks are in this deck. So we have 3 of these Luffys, 4 of these Sanjis, and 4 of these Jinbeis. So we have, 11 2Ks, which is great. We have 4 blockers, and we have 4 event counters. So there's a lot of good defense in this deck. And these supporting cards are the Searchers. You can get almost every single card. You can grab these 3 Namis, which I think are amazing with a lot of the cards that you have, Dawn attached stuff. Let's go ahead and even look at how much stuff that is Dawn attachable, right? So 1 card, 2 card, 3 cards, 4 cards, 5. Oh my god. 6, 7. There's 7 different cards in this deck that have When Dawn attached. So once again, you might even want to run 4 Namis if you want more, but that's really good. So that is the current Sanji deck I'm running. I think the next one I'll show off to you guys is probably the exact 1-for-1 build of the tournament winner Sanji deck that happened last week of recording this video. I just need to look at it and see how it plays, do some testing, and then we can go ahead and talk about it. So that is today's episode. If you guys liked, please like the video and subscribe Arena for more duels, deck profiles, and more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.